We are live. Live on all the platforms. Hello, world. It is Tuesday here. Just got off work a little bit ago. About a week before Christmas. Got my G Fuel swag. Little band here with Santa on it and the bells. Bubbles and Bug Droid are back there, keeping an eye on us. Making sure we stay on schedule for the stream and don't code any bugs. Yeah, last week here before I'm off for break from work, which is kind of nice. Got a whole week off. Still got a little Christmas shopping left to do, but mostly all done. Alright, what are we getting ourselves into this stream? We are going to be looking at the login page, coding up a login page and a sign-up page for our rubberduckarmy.com website. Let's pull up our rubberduckarmy.com site here. rubberduckarmy.com. You guys will have to bear with me again. This is only the 5th stream I've done so far. I'm still trying to manage switching scenes, checking the chats and whatnot, and then trying to do the coding of the website all at the same time. But we'll get there. So last time we got our Rubberduck Army, we coded up the navigation menu up here, the user menu. You click on the little hamburger icon, you get this nice, beautiful menu. Look at that. Home, login, and sign up. Actually, we missed something right there. There's still a little, see a little black corner there? We need to get rid of that. What is that on? I think it's the user menu. Do a border top right radius of 5 pixels. Or, hold on, let's do left. Looking at the left side. 5 pixels. Oh yeah, there. Now it's clean. So we need that on the left, right. Oh yeah, see, you can see it down here where the glow is happening. Need to get a border, bottom, left radius. If I do 5 pixels, look at that. Now it looks clean. Border, top. Border top. Oh, let me zoom this in here so you guys can see what I'm editing here in the browser. In our developer tools. Border top, right radius 5 pixels. And a border bottom, right radius of 5 pixels. So you'll notice if I toggle this style that we just added off, we'll get a horrible looking black corner radius down here of 0. Border, bottom, left. See, that little pops right back in there. Ugly. Get rid of it. So we're going to apply all these to our user menu. Actually, we gotta... Well, we haven't even got the code open yet or anything, and we're already finding issues. Alright, so first things first, our Rubberduck Army is over on GitHub. Go check out the GitHub here at Rubberduck Army. You can check out the code here so far. Last merge was from the last stream, Stream 4, where we added the nav menu. We have our branches here for each of the streams. And hop over to our command line. CD into our Rubberduck Army folder. Just make that big so you guys can see that. How's that looking on stream? Zoom, 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 zoom. Alright, so we're going to do a git checkout. Let's see, git branch-a. We have our previous two stream branches set up. This is going to be stream 5. Git checkout -b stream 5 login and sign up. Now if we do a git branch-a, we are on our stream 5 login and sign up branch. Let's get Sublime Text open here. Our IDE, Rubber Duck Army. Alright, now what were we looking at? The user menu. User menu, where are we at here? So we want to add a style here, global style, to the template styles style sheet for our user menu class. We got to add all those borders to it, those border radiuses. That would be under our app, CSS, CSS templates default styles CSS. So we should have a user menu in here. There it is. No, that's not it. Right here. This is what we're looking for. Alright, so now to make our user menu look even prettier with no black corners on it, we'll copy our styles that we manually entered in Firefox and paste them right there in our user menu class. Beautiful. Let's pull up our Rubber Duck Army on localhost. Alright, now if we zoom in and we hover over and we click on the user menu, there's no more black corner here. You see how it went away? Mission complete. Okay, so back in the last stream, I believe we set up these pages, at least. Yeah, we at least set up the shell for these pages. We got the view here for login, we got the sign up view, and we have our home view, which we'll eventually need to get rid of these paragraph text, but we got to first come up with something to put on the home page. We will do that later. Right now we're focusing on login and sign up. Let's go ahead and start on the sign up page, yes, or the login page. Login page will be easier, so we're just gonna have an email and password input. Sign up page will have more things like first name, last name, email. Let's tackle the sign up page first. I'm gonna zoom us out. Let's get to the, all right, how's that look? That's our desktop view. We know it's desktop styles because this Rubber Duck Army, the actual text up here, hides when you hit the mobile breakpoint in our CSS. So one more zoom and we are on mobile. I think that still looks good on the stream. All right. So sign up. Sign up. let's open up all our files for our sign up page. We're going to open up our controller. We're going to open up the views. Each view has its own folder, so sign up, and then we have our HTML body for the view, and we have our head HTML, which is all the head content, so we can page specific head contents. If we want to add anything just for the sign up view, it would go in this file right here. And next we need to open up our CSS and our JavaScript that are specific for this page. That would be over in our assets, CSS, sign up folder. And there's our styles. These are sign up page specific styles. Do the same in our JavaScript folder. This is JS sign up script specific for our sign up page. And we have, looks like we added a console log in our last video. Let's see. Where am I here? Chrome? There we go, Chrome. So if we inspect our console here, yeah, there we go. We got our log out. Sign up. Oh, let's zoom that in. Gotta remember to zoom. Zoom, zoom. Let's close this. Zoom. So when we load our page, we get our console log message. Sign up page is ready. We got our JavaScript, our CSS, our HTML head and body. We are going to open up our template specific CSS as well, which is basically site specific CSS, because we're going to be coding up these input fields in a way that we can reuse them on any page we want. CSS template default styles.css. So here's where we'll be placing our global input styles. Alright, we're moving right along here. We're all set up. Let's look at our sign up page. Now, I don't want this sign up form to take over the whole page, the width of the whole page, because we don't need it to. That would be silly. Content container pad. So we want to have it like centered, maybe 300 pixels, 400 pixels wide at the most, and then center this container. If I do, let's edit it right in line here. We're on our content container here. Let's do an inline style here, width of 400 pixels. See how it narrowed down there? That's more of the width of a form that I'm thinking of. Because then the inputs will be the width of the form. You have your little label on top of the input. And now we just need it centered. And we'll put that on, well, let's put that on the content container actually. I'm trying to think, would we ever want a content container not centered? No, so I think if we put the margin 0 auto here, we'll center that one. And that shouldn't be a problem anywhere we're using our content container either. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a new style for our content container. Let's call this content container small. This will be in our template level CSS as well. That's where our content container is. Right here. So by default, it's just going to take up the space. If we do a content container and do a dot small on it, we can do a width of 400 pixels. Can't forget we need our center margin 0 auto on our content container, so it's always in the center of the screen. And then we're going to want to do a mobile version of this as well. Once the breakpoint hits, if we don't do anything with this, it'll just be 400 pixels, which is not going to look good on mobile. On mobile, we do want the width to always be 100%. Just like that. Now all we have to do is add a small class. Welcome to the... let's see, all I have to do now is add a small class to our HTML body, our class container here, small. And if we refresh our page, the styles are now coming in from the classes that we added. There's our content container.small. You see it's at 400. And if we zoom in till our breakpoint hits, you'll see it updates, and it's now using our media query right here to set it to 100% width, which is what we want for mobile. All right, now let's get a good heading here. Our sign up, I'm not a fan of this H1. I don't want any margins on here. No margins on the H1s. And maybe we make it bold. Kind of like I like this bold here that's in the user nav. That is, what is the font family again? Park and Sans, I think it is. User menu item. Font family, Park and Sans bold. Let's copy that here to our H1. H1 will be, where did I thought oh yeah, inline style. We don't want any margins. Font family, Park and Sans bold, already looking better. And then we'll do, I think that's actually, what font size is it? Font size 2, yeah. I think we just leave the font size. Let's do font size. What size? 12, 24, 26 pixels. 28. So we'll call this good for our H1 tag. Let's go ahead and make this our global H1 style. Over in our template default. Let's go here to the top with the rest of our tags. Under our body tag, we'll do H1. Paste our styles there. And let's give this H1 a class. We'll call it section title. And I'm giving this a class just because I want to add, I want to make the sign up text, oops. There we go. I want to make the sign up text centered, but I don't think I necessarily want to place that text align center on this H1 style, because some H1 tags are on the site. We might not want them to be centered. So I'm just going to leave the global H1 style with a margin, a font family, and a font size. I don't think that would ever change across the site wherever we're using H1, but you know, the centering of the text might change. let's come down here and create our section title. Section title, text align, center. Gotta stop minimizing those things. All right, refresh. There we go. Sign up. Welcome, welcome, guys. Welcome to the stream. We're over here coding up we're on our sign up page right now. Little HTML, CSS, JavaScript, getting this sign up form and login form working. Next up, we just finished our sign up header. Now it's time to create our first row for our input elements. All right, let's get rid of all this paragraph text here, blah, blah, blah. Div, this is gonna be our form row, and we'll have two divs inside of here. Keep it simple. This will be our label. So we'll start out with an email address. I think that's a good first input for the form, for signing up. And then here's where our input will be. Int input, just like that. Type equals text. And there it is. There's our label and our input. And you know, if it didn't look that ugly, we could just leave it at that, but we gotta get this thing styled up a little bit. So, we got our form section row here. Then we'll style up our, let's call this class equals input label default. All right, now our form section, our input label default, you know, we got to make this smaller here. Let's edit it here in real time. Class input label default. And let's give this a font size of 12 pixels. 10, I like 10 better. Font family. Should this be, maybe this should be bold. Parkinson's bold? No. Parkinson's, what about regular? Regular. Is there a medium? Medium, let's make it 8 pixels in medium. I like that. I think I like that better. Color. I want it to be lighter gray. What if we make it the same color as these lines here? color of these lines. That's gonna be too light, I think. For instance, medium, color, too light. What about 333? Oh, 333 might work, actually. Not bad. Not bad at all. We'll leave it at that for now. Copy those styles we added over to our styles global. Input, label default. So now that's styled up. We're going to give this an ID. Call this email. And we need to put a label here, you know, for accessibility purposes. Label. Label email. Put our for email. This is saying the label is for this ID, which maps to our input email ID right here. Actually, I'm gonna get rid of this div here. I don't know if we need this div. You can always add it in later, but right now the input should be fine. Welcome guys. Welcome to the live stream. We're coding up our website in real time. Input default. So we have a label default up here. Now we'll just have our input default, which is the actual input element. Now we need to style this thing up so it doesn't look so horrible. I mean, look at this thing. All right, let's see here. Let's get a placeholder in here first. Placeholder. That is the text that will display if nothing is in the input field. Placeholder equals email. All right, there we go. First thing I'm going to give this thing is some padding. Padding of 10 pixels. Too big. It kind of looks good. I think let's give it 5 and a font size of 12 pixels maybe. Padding 10. Just gotta play around with this and why is that's right, because I'm zoomed in. That's what's throwing me off here. Okay, let me just reset this quick until I get the what it looks. Yeah, okay. Now that 400 pixels is even looking a little small. Where's our content container small? Should I do 500 here? No, let's leave it at 400. Okay, yeah, and that that label needs to be bigger too. I was like, why is this not looking small enough? Font size 8. Let's make it 10. Yeah, 10. Let's do 10 put. Now it looks really small to you guys probably on stream. Let's just get these looking good at 100%, then we can zoom back in. Say 10 pixels there. Okay, now let's style up our email input here. Input default. Font size, let's start out nice and big, maybe 16 pixels. Padding, what do I have, 10 pixels? Might be too much, but let's keep going here. Color, 333. Now let's see color black. Yeah, color black. Border radius 5 pixels. Border. Then set a border. 1 pixel. Solid. All threes. I think that's too dark. You gotta go lighter with it. 666. What about the... I'm gonna go back to this border bottom over here. What is this border bottom? This one. Is that too light for an input? Where's the color? User menu item. Border bottom. What am I doing? It's right in front of me. It's probably because it's not zoomed in. Now it's messing me up that it's zoomed out so much. Alright, let's see what this looks like. Yeah, I think that's good. We don't need this color. We'll leave it at black. Oops. Okay. That outline has to go. Outline, what is it? Yeah, it's none. Right now when I click on it, nothing happens. Not the annoying browser outline doesn't take over. And you get this width 100% of the box. There it is. But you'll notice it is overflowing our padding here. Yes, so we need to make sure that is box what is it? Box sizing. Yeah, there we go. Border box, that'll bring it back in within the padding. Let's see. I wonder if I should make this font the bold font family. It's kind of light. Medium. Let's do medium. I like that, medium. Not sure I'm liking this email. It's too dark. Sorry, I'm being really picky, but that's just how I am. Here we go, let's see. Right there. Alright, input default. Where'd our input default go? Input default. Here we go. Let's copy this here. Over into our input default class at the template level. Now we have our input styled up. Oh, we need to save that color that I just did for the label too. Much better than all threes. This color right here. I'll probably change my mind 100 times, but for now, I'm liking it. I think I want to get rid of this, that too. This colon there. Just might look cleaner. Maybe it's the font that I don't like here. What did I put on here? Medium? I think this needs to be light. If it's that small. No, then you can't. Ugh. Alright, we'll leave it there for now. Can always change it later. So there's our label default styled up and our input styled up. However, we need to get some user interaction styles here, because it's pretty lame that it doesn't do anything on hover or when you focus it. Hey, welcome. Input defaults. We're going to give ourselves our focus option here. Focus. Whenever we click inside of it, I'm going to give it a box shadow, just like our content container. Let's see what that looks like. Let's see if we need to tweak that at all. Yeah, gives it a nice little box shadow there. You can see that. Can you see that on the stream? It's kind of faint, but
what town is this?
Maybe it's not faint. Let's give it. Let's update it here in real time. The real time update. Where's our box shadow? We gotta click our hover. Is that behind my? Oh, you guys can see that. So to see the hover states and the focus states, you click our little hover right here and you select focus. Now we should see input default : focus right there. Let's give ourselves a box. Let's try a really dark shadow, maybe a black, and just give it transparency. It's one of my go-tos for trial and error. RGB box shadow. What did I do wrong? Oh, let's start this over here.
About 60 miles.
Box shadow. On focus. Where did on focus go? There it is. Focus. Focus. Focus on a focus. I'm gonna make these all zeros. Like I said, my go-to is looking at RGBA zeros with a transparency. That's looking a little too not cool. Let's try 0, 0, 4. Oh, we're getting somewhere now. What if we did 0.9? Nope, too dark, too dark. 0.1. I kind of like that. 0.1, 0.2. Let's do 0.1. Is that a big enough difference? Focus. On focus. Let's copy this to our script. Refresh our page. Let's see how this looks on stream. So we're not focused. Then when we do focus, I think that's subtle enough. I think if we give it a background, what if we give it a background of the same color as our background for the body? On focus. Inspect, find our focus, and then say background. There we go. Yeah, that's gonna make it look different. So there you guys can see is our sign up input, and if we click on it, let's zoom in a little more here. Maybe just my Streamlabs that's looking pixelated. Let me hop over to, oh, this is looking fine. Okay, so I click on here. Now you can definitely tell it's highlighted. It's got a nice little hover effect with the box, a nice little focus with the box shadow there. The other event we want to listen for is the hover state, and we'll just maybe it should be the same thing. No, they can't be the same. Hover has to be a little less intense. So hover, I think we'll just do a background, so you know you're hovering over that input element. But when you focus, you get the nice box shadow. Hover, click. Yes, that looks good. Alrighty, moving along. Next thing we want to put in here is our error, right? So if there's a problem with the email address or any of these form row sections, we're going to want to display an error to the user. Call this our input error default. And then copy correctly. Copy. Move this over here. Color, red. Or we could do red is R. Is foo with 4 zeros. So we know we want it to be red. Let's place some text in here. Say email invalid or already registered. Refresh our page. There we go. There's our error. Let me just zoom this out. I gotta make sure how it's looking at 100%. So not that great at 100%. Let's update this here in real time. Error. Let's do the font size 12 pixels. Yeah, I think that's better. 12 pixels. Let's give us margin top of 3 pixels maybe. Yeah, space it out. You know, maybe we need some space above this label too. Maybe that's what's been bugging me about that label. Margin bottom 3 pixels. Yeah, I think that's yeah. Yep. Yes. So for the label, we want a margin bottom. Where's our input label? Input label default. They'll all get a margin bottom. Our input errors will all have a font size of 12 pixels and a margin top of 3 pixels. Now the only question is, do I want a different font for that? Do we want the medium, Parkin Sans medium, for our error? Font family. Bold actually looks kind of cool. Medium. Yeah, light is too light. Font awesome 6 free. I think we're gonna do Parkin Sans medium for the error message. So then if I have my email in here, that's what it would look like. If there's some email address in there, I think that looks good. Font family, Parkin Sans medium. Yo, what's up, Josh? Not much, just coding. Working on our website. We are currently on our sign-up form. The look and feel, styling up the input elements, the error messages, the labels. We want our site to always look pretty. Alright, I can zoom this back in now for you guys on stream. I just had to make sure it looked good at 100%. Because sometimes when you zoom in, stuff gets a little wonky. Just you know, we're coding this website open source, kind of a build as you go, you know, building the site in public. It's on GitHub. Just getting the building blocks up right now. Once we get the basics up, sign up, login, all that fun stuff, then we can work on adding cool features. Any features that anyone wants to see added. But first we got to get the building blocks set up so users can log in. And that is our form row section. So for the sign up form, we're going to need a few more things from the user before we can let them sign up. The next thing we'll get from them is their username. For our username input. Remember, this ID has to be an ID of an input here. So we'll give this input ID. Class input defaults, placeholder, username. Say username invalid or already taken. Let's give it we should say a max length for the username. Max length of, a min length of a username. Well, for the auth right now, we're just going to be building our own login authentication. I'm trying to get through the styling here first. Then the plan is to write our own little front-end validation, a little JavaScript object that will validate our forms. Send that data to the back end, just a simple little AJAX call. Validate it and then validate it on the back end. Because you always want to do front-end validation and back-end validation. So we're just going to see how far we can get here on styling this site and making it look pretty today. And we'll see if we can get into some JavaScript validation a little later. Error message for our username, min length. Let's say your username has to be a minimum of 4 characters. Alphanumeric only. Alright, username. Then what else do we need? We want their first name, their last name. So we'll do a first name. First name. First name is for this input right here. Placeholder first name. Invalid name. That's a good enough error message for that one. Let's do a last name here. See how fast it kind of goes once you get one little thing styled up, and then you can just reuse it. First name, last name. Hey, thanks for joining, man. Talk to you later. Thanks for joining, Josh. Nice! Minneapolis based too. Represent Minneapolis. I'm gonna refresh our page. Just want to see how it's looking now. Alrighty. Got our email, username, first name, last name. I feel like there's not enough padding between the error messages here. Alright, let's get some padding on the bottom of these as well. Padding top, or margin bottom, 3 pixels. I don't know, we just do 5 pixels. Wait, we have a margin top, so if we just did margin top 5 pixels, or margin top on our label. We have a margin top here. Yeah, margin top. Oh, bottom. I think we put margin top 5 pixels. That looks a little better on our labels. Actually, what am I talking about? We got to get this on the form section row is where we should be applying that to. Form section row. Leaders. Okay, form section row. Oh, we haven't put any styles on this one yet. Margin top 5 pixels. Ooh, 50. Yes, I don't think we need 50. 10. Let's do 10. Form section row, input, form section row, margin top 10 pixels. Alright, now they all should be spaced out and look a lot nicer. There we go. And at 100%, it looks better too. Next up, we need a checkbox for our password. What do I mean, not a checkbox? Oh, hey, welcome to the stream. Not a checkbox because we're signing up. So the password's required. Password first, and confirm password. So we have a password. Placeholder is password. Confirm password. Confirm password. Confirm password everywhere. And let's get our... Is that everywhere? Yeah. Let's copy or do a Control D there, and let's come up with an error message. Passwords do not match, and or are not the minimum length. What is the minimum? And are not 8 characters long. Refresh our page, and we don't have our why aren't our passwords showing up? Oh, what did I mess up now? Oh, I did not save. Trust me, that happens a lot. Refresh. There we go. We have our passwords. I feel like this... Oh, the error text. I don't know. It feels like it might need to be a little darker. Here I'm judging the looks and feel of it again. What does it look like at 100%? No, maybe I think it looks good. We'll leave it for now. Now we need a button at the bottom. A sign up button. We'll use our form section row again, but this time we're going to place a button in there. We'll call this sign up. Yo, what's up for the engineer? Oh, working on rubberduckarmy.com. Getting the site going, getting the site up. Working on the sign up for the site, the login for the site. Right now we're on the styling of it. Then we're going to hopefully write some JavaScript validation. Pass that to the backend, validate it there, but that's for another stream. We're just trying to do front-end stuff right now. And I spend way too much time nitpicking at how the look and feel of the site is. That's how it goes. It's got to be perfect. Right now, it's just all vanilla. I want to get a basic vanilla site up and running with just login, sign up, and user management, and then from there, start implementing some cool stuff. Maybe start it over and rewrite the same thing in React or whatever. I don't really know where we'll go. Implement some cool features. But we're at the beginning right now. Yeah, gotta be perfect. Now I gotta figure out a color for our buttons. I spent way too much time on the hover menu, the user menu color last stream. Our sign up button. Default button style. Alright, let's get back to Chrome. I don't know, that sign up button's already looking beautiful on its own. Default button styles for the win. Yeah, React. It's React. I haven't dabbled much in it, but I do want to learn it, so it is on my list of possibly doing a stream learning how to do it at some point, but nothing wrong with the vanilla basics either. Font family. What should this font family be? Font family. I think we need to make this our bold font family. Bold? No. Medium. I gotta look and see what other fonts we installed last stream. styles at the top here are or our Google fonts. We got extra bold. Regular. What's semi-bold? See what that looks like. Yeah, simple. Sometimes it's just best to stay simple with it. There's no need to, you know, add all this extra stuff that's not needed. Especially for a simple auth. Font family. Bold. Semi-bold. Let me zoom out here and see what it looks like. What's regular look like? Regular. Nope, it's gotta be bold. At least semi-bold. Wait, what about medium? Font size 14 pixels. Padding 10 pixels. Too much. Too much? 5. And bigger font. Border radius 5 pixels. Border 0 pixels. So we need a color. I'm thinking the color is going to be white. Now we need a good background to contrast our hover state here of bubbles. I think this is just straight up yellow color. Hover. Color wheel. Paste your color. Oh, is this complement? Is that too complimentary? I don't know if I like that. That blue. Ooh, I kind of like this. What if this was the button color? Where's my sign up button color? Button color. Sorry, background. Okay. It's that, or the complementary is all blue, which is like that. That doesn't look bad either, though. Let's see if there's any other recommendations for us. Triadic. Ooh, what about this one? Just too light? That's gonna be too light. Oh yeah, too light. Man, I think I'm going with this. Can't decide. Buttons that color everywhere, or blue. Definitely see the button when it's better when it's blue. Oh boy, decisions. What do you guys think? Orangish blue for button color? Man, I'm feeling blue. It just sticks out a little more. Just pops a little more if it's... Ah, but that I kind of like that contrast with the yellow. Let's put two buttons side by side and see what we think. That helps sometimes. Can't lose all these styles I've been working on though. Where are they? Right here. Is there any other styles we want on here right now? I got my default button style. We need to make sure. Is there a border on here right now? If there's, I don't want one. We want cursor, pointer. Alright, we'll look at one with this color and one with a different color. Button default. Button default orange. Button default blue. Blue is just 0000 FF. Then over here we can copy our sign up button. We'll make two sign up buttons. Button default button blue. Default button orange. Orange. Oh, did I name button default? Not default button. Button default. Refresh the page. See which one looks better on the site. Which one of these looks better on the site with the Bubbles logo up here? Thoughts? Any preference to which of these buttons looks better for our default button? Let's get a hover state set up. Well, I wait for you guys to think about it. Opacity, let's just do an opacity 0.8. There we go, nice little hover effect. I think I'm gonna have to go blue on this one. Is that what the complementary was? Just straight up, yeah, yellow, blue. I think we can always, that orange, we can always come back with that later for something else. Maybe link, ooh, link color. Link color, this could be the link color, default link colors. I kind of like that idea. Alright, it has been decided. We're going with the blue button. The orange will be default link colors later on when we have a link. Sign up, div, or log in. The choice is yours. We have our sign up or our login. Because if you already have an account, you're going to log in. I think we have a href base URL here. Is that we put in our nav, or is our templates default nav? Yeah, href base URL, and then it's just /login to the controller. And that'll take us all the way to our login page. Hit that, takes us to the login. Sign up, login. This OR is a site for sore eyes. Sore, or let's say font size 12 pixels. Text line center. Margin top 20 pixels. Margin bottom 20 pixels. And opacity 0.6. Yeah, I think that looks good. We'll call this our divider or class. Or let's call it the OR divider. OR divider goes right there. Class equals OR divider. Alright, let's zoom this in here. You guys can see. Sign up page is coming along. For email, our username, our first name, our last name, password, confirm password, and our sign up button, which does nothing, and our login, which takes us to our login page. Alright, now we can add a... Let's just add a little JavaScript alert now to our sign up button here. Call this button sign up. Just like that. And over in our HTML, our script.js here, this is our sign up page specific script. We can go ahead and add a click event here. Over in our JavaScript here, our global JavaScript under the template script.js, we're going to copy a click event listener here. Actually, first we have to get our element. Can't forget to get our element. So in our document ready function here, we're going to get the sign up button. Sign up button element, and we're getting it by the class name. Here, close that. Our class name is button-signup. And that's an array. The get by class name is an array, so we're getting the first element there because there will only be one on our page. Then what we can do is add a click event for our sign up button. Sign up button element, add event listener, click event. On click for our button. We'll get rid of our console log. We don't need that anymore. We have moved on. And we're going to pass along. Sorry, we're going to create a function for signing the user up by passing the user info that they've entered in the form to the server through our server signup function. Send info to server and sign user up. That should do it for now. So really what will happen in here, we'll get rid of this alert eventually. We'll do front-end validation checks to make sure it all checks out, and then we will send it to the server. And we're messing something up here with our add event listener. There's always something. Where's our... What did we mess up? Add event listener. Got our element by class name button sign up. Button sign up. Read properties of undefined, reading add event listener. Let's just see if this alert, get that event, simplify this here, alert, see if this is even working here. we're still getting that error. Add event listener. Why can't I read that? I know it's something simple I'm missing. Are we not getting this element? See if we're getting our element back here. Ah, undefined. So we screwed up. We done screwed up way back before we even tried to call the function. Get elements by class name. Document get elements by class name sign up. Am I not? Is this not being returned? Length 0. Let's see, are we in the right app? Assets.js, sign up script.js. Yeah, we're on the right. On the right page. We're editing the correct file, that's a good thing. Sign up button element dot add event listener. Is it because it's on a button element? That couldn't be, would it? Let's comment these out for now. Just see if we can get our element to return. Get element by class name. Go class button sign up. Ah, so we'll get element by class name with a button class. This doesn't work. That's good to know. I don't think I ever knew that. Alright, so we'll just leave it as a div, I guess. Doesn't matter. Except we need to add a few more styles onto our default now. So we're going to have to make this text align center and box sizing border box. styles, button default. Okay, back to our script. Now we should be getting to our alert function. Error went away, and when we click on the sign up button, we get our alert. Excuse me. I'm gonna go grab some more water, guys, and then we'll hop over to the login. All right. Sign up page is looking good for now. Now we can do our login page, which shouldn't take us very long because we did everything, all the styles for the sign up page. And it turns out we didn't even use our styles sign up. We only used the script sign up. We didn't use the HTML head either, because most of the styles are going to be site specific, so they go in the global template styles.css file. Just like for our sign up page, I'm going to go ahead and open up our login script.js file. Our login, nope, not our login styles, our login HTML body. Views login HTML body. Back at the start of our sign up page, we're going to copy our H1 that we set up for our sign up. Right, and we'll paste that here. We'll keep the text there, login. Now we have our login section title complete. Delete all the paragraph text from our login page. And what does the user need to log in? Well, they need to specify their email and their password. So we'll copy our form row over here for email, and then we'll copy the password down here, password. Below that, we have our two buttons. Since we're on the sign up page, the buttons will be reversed. We're going to want the login button up here and the sign up down here. Alright, and we're going to make this, we change this to divs, so div button. And now this A tag will be wrapping down here around our sign up, because that'll just take them to our sign up page if they want to sign up. However, if they log in, this is where we want to do some JavaScript front-end validation, validate the form, and then send the data to the server. Update this button to be div here. Alrighty. So if we're on the sign up page and we click the login button, it takes us to our login page. And the first thing you'll notice is it's full screen, which is, remember, we have to add that small class to our container. Back here in our sign up, right up here at the very top, container small. That means it'll be a width of 400 pixels only, and then be centered on the screen. So, one thing I know we forgot to do is make this password a type of password. The input type here is text right now. And what that means is over here on our page, if we start typing in the password box, well, it just shows you the password automatically. We want the little dots there first. And we can implement a show hide functionality later on too. That would be a nice feature to add. Like this type of password. Do the same on our sign up page. Password, type equals password, and we also want to do that for our confirm password. Type equals password. Now when we try to type a password here, it's ... If we go to our sign up page, sign up page is actually taking us to our login page. So down here on the login page, the href here has to go to sign up. Now we're on the login page, we want to sign up, we click sign up, and we just updated the password fields so they're dots. And then we can go back to the login page. Now I think thinking out loud here, I want a border to be around these if it's invalid, around the inputs. So we have our input error default. Let's add an input error class to our inputs if it's an error. On the login page, let's test this out on our password. Input label, input class, input default. Input let's just say error. Well, let's just give it let's do a separate class for it. Input default error. Come down here to our input where's our input default? Input default. Border 1 pixel solid red. Let's see what that looks like. Zoom that in for you guys there. I think that looks better when there's an error message. That helps identify, and it looks cleaner than like this one up here if you just have the error message with no border around the input field. So I think I'm happy with the way our errors will look on the page. Now by default, when the page loads, we're not going to have that input error class on there, and we will hide these by default. The input error default. Input error, I'm going to actually change this to be def error message, just so we know that that's our text. Input error text, maybe. Yeah, input error message. Input error message. Makes a little more sense. Message. So now we'll just replace all of our input error defaults. Highlight all of them, replace them. Input error default is now input error message. Let's read a little page, make sure it's still working. Yep, still working. Let's see how we're looking on mobile here. I don't know if we need to change anything for mobile. Where's our, there it is, mobile. I think text and font sizes are still fine for mobile. Yeah, I think that too. Do the error messages need to be smaller in general though? That's got me thinking again. What size are they right now? Font size 12, 11, 10. Maybe, yeah, I kind of like this, yeah. Yep, input error message going with 10 font size. Input error, where's our styles? Error message, font size of 10. Alrighty. And I think we're at a good point where we can actually hide our error messages. Alright, we've seen how they looked. I think we got the styles pretty much nailed down, at least for now, for this stream. Display, none. Now our site looks like, well, the password's still invalid. Yeah, I think that looks clean. I think that's looking good. Let's remove that error from our... Actually, you know what? I don't think we need error messages on the login screen. We just will highlight each field, one of the fields if it's wrong. Because we don't want to give the user any too much information so they can try to, you know, brute force their way in. We're just going to say, hey, there's something wrong. Check these input fields. So I'm going to get rid of the, is this, yeah, login, get rid of that. Remove the input error and get rid of our error message for the email. So now if they're logging in on the login page, all we're going to do is add the input error class here if to these fields if there's a problem logging in. Okay, so our login page, there we go. Let's add our on-click event, just like we did for our sign-up page. We're going to go ahead and get our login button. Get login button. Login. Login button, add event listener, click, and we'll say server log in. Server log in. and log the user in. Clicking on the login button. We don't get anything. We must have... Oh, what did we do? What did we do last time? Same error. Oh boy, and I can't remember. Oh, did I not add this class to the login button? I didn't. Well, that would do it. Now when I click on the login button, we get our send info to server and log user up. We'll log user up. Yes, log the user up. In. Oops, what am I doing here? Oh. Oh, I put this on the side. Gross. Alright, there we go. Alright, we have our login page. Styled up nicely. We have our sign up page styled up nicely. The buttons are styled up nicely as well. And they work. They take us to the login page and the sign up page. And then if we try to sign up, well, right now they just give us an alert, but that's some good progress along with a pretty good looking website. Clicking around just to make sure they all work. Yep. All right. Homepage. Yep. Alrighty. Now let's go ahead and start. I think we have time to start getting into some JavaScript for front-end validation here. Let's start with the login since there's only 2 input fields. I don't know if we'll get through all of it today. Where is my word wrap? Word wrap, word wrap. Well, anyway, I'm going to head over to the actual repository. Where is right? WAMP www Rubber Duck Army. Here we have our Rubber Duck Army. And in our app.js folder, assets, JS, I'm going to create a new folder here. We'll call it form helper. And in here, we're going to put a script.js file. And this is going to be our form helper. We're going to write it. We're going to try to write it so it's generic, so we can use the form helper on any form we create throughout the site. All right, there it is. It's showing up in our JS folder, scripts, variable form helper. And now this, we don't need, we need to include it in our template level. Views, template, default HTML up here in our head. So it gets included on every page. Well, do we want to do that? Actually, Maybe we do it for page-specific pages, because we're not going to want to use it on every single page. Good thinking, good thinking. So scratch that. But I'm going to copy this script over so we have it. So we're going to go to our page-specific login view, views login HTML head. And then we'll just go ahead and we'll include it right here. Form helper. Base URL assets JS, and we're in our form helper folder, form helper script.js file. Now, this is only going to be included on our login page. We also want it on our signup page. So we have to copy the script and paste it into our signup page as well. Signup head HTML head.js. Now it's included on both those pages. For example, we don't have it on our home page. It's not even included. We don't need it. Unless we want to add a form there in the future, but right now I don't see us doing that, so only include scripts you need, guys, otherwise sites get bloated. Form helper script.js, where are we at? There we are. Alright, so we have our form helper object here all set up and ready to go. Now we got to keep in mind that we will want to reuse this form helper object, and also we have to keep in mind that if we have multiple forms on one page, this also has to be able to handle multiple forms. Well, not handle multiple, you have to be able to create, instantiate multiple form helpers, which is why we have it set up here. Our object, we have to specify the constructor, which is just the same name as the function. The object, we're going to pass in some args. And for now, let's just do a console log here. Form helper initialize. Now back to our login and signup scripts. This is where we're going to initialize our forms, right? So we've included the form helper in our head, HTML head here, for our login page. So now we have access to it here in our document.ready function. Login form equals, and here's where we can instantiate a new object. Where's our form helper? My goodness, it's getting late. All right, so form helper right here. It's just, where's my log? I'm just gonna work on login, right? Login, login, login. Sign up, go over here. Styles, I think we're done with styles for now. Close that. Sign up over here, login. So we're going to create a login form here. Equals new login form equals new form helper, and here is where we pass those parameters into our constructor function right here, args. This is the function that we're going call when we instantiate it right here, when we create our object. Oh my gosh, where's our, there we go. Login, form helper, login. So we're going to pass in some arguments here to our form helper. And so this is how we can have multiple forms on one page. So if the login and the sign up form are on the same page, we would be able to do something like this. Sign up form equals new form helper. Now we have to be able to differentiate what inputs go to which form. So essentially what we want to do, our form helper is going to look at the page, and it's going to take this input here and say, hey, that's part of this form helper that we've created. Right here, our login form. How does it know? Well, we're going to add on classes to the form helper, to the inputs. So we'll call this login dash FH, short for form helper. So we're going to put this class on all of our inputs. Now the form helper knows to look for any input with this class that is part of the form helper that we're creating here. So if I left it off from one of these inputs, let's say we had another form, a sign up form on the same page, well then it would know, it wouldn't pull in those inputs because it would only pull in inputs that have login-fh on the input. So I'm going to call this a prefix, login-fh. That'll be our prefix login. And this is how we will tell the form helper which inputs to look at, and it will ignore all the other inputs. So our form class prefix for our login form is login. We'll do the same thing for our signup script.js over here. We'll create a form helper for that. We'll call it signup form, and the prefix will be signup. Now we have our form helper set up on each of our pages, login and sign up. Although we are far from done. If you do a little console log down here, we can log out our form helper that we've created. Let's go ahead and take, this is our arguments object right here. So let's go ahead and handle this argument in our actual form helper. So first we're going to get our self, variable self equals this object. So now we're going to say self dot form class prefix equals, and then we're going to look for this form, then we're going to look for this actual name in our args that are coming in. If form class prefix is in args, then we're going to set self form class prefix equal to args.formClassPrefix. Otherwise, we'll set it equal to an empty string. and the form class prefix, for example, login. Where are we at here? Login-fh. Let's just look at the console log first of all here. Login form. Make sure we don't have any JavaScript errors. Well, we do. Form helper is not a constructor. Must have spelled something wrong somewhere. Oh, I don't think I returned. God, I didn't return it. That's gotta be it. Where's my form helper? Form helper. There we go. Now it's working. Form helper has been initialized. That's our console log. Right? Console log? Yeah, console log form helper is initialized. And here's our form helper object. There we go. We've set our first object form class prefix. Alright, we've defined our first argument and stored it in our class here. Form class prefix. Login. Now if we go to sign up, we see the form helper has been initialized. And if we did a console log over here, our form helper, it should now say sign up. Except for we gotta get the variable names correct. It's called sign up form on our sign up page. Same thing, the object here, form class helper, but now we have our form class prefix of sign up. And we will add sign up dash to all of these form elements. Get rid of our console log there. Then we're going to take care of a few more specific things here for our form helper that we want to set when we create a new form helper. We have our prefix set up. We actually want to add on, so our prefix would be login. We have it set to sign up. And if we do pass it in, we want to add on a dash to it. Now it will be login dash or sign up dash, because we will be we always want a dash in between the prefix and whatever else we're appending to it. It'll all make sense later. Alrighty, back to our form helper. This is our form prefix. Then we'll set our form class identifier. Input class identifier. This is going to equal, we're going to look for this in our args as well. Args dot otherwise will default to FH. And we'll just, this is just so we can customize things if we want to. We're not going to pass in anything different to our login form helper, except for form class prefix. But what this will allow us to do in the future is specify an input class identifier, this dash FH, so we could make this whatever we wanted to in the future, so we could fully customize our form helper. Next up, well, maybe dumping it out will make a little more sense. On the login page, now we see we have our form class prefix and we have our input class identifier. Now, this input class identifier is exactly what it sounds like. It's going to be the identifier for our inputs we want to identify for this form helper. What we want is login-fh. Right, so all these, this is going to have login-fh. The password has login-fh on it. So we have to append on our form class prefix to our input class identifier. We're going to wrap this in some brackets. Maybe this line's getting too long. Let's do a separate line. And we'll set it equal to form class prefix plus our input class identifier. That's why we need this dash up here. If we didn't have this dash, then we would have a dash in between these two things. I'll show you guys here. Should make more sense here. All right, now our form helper. Our prefix is login dash, and our input class identifier is login dash FH. So now our form helper, we can call, now our form helper knows to look for any input element on the page with the input class identifier of login-fh. All these input elements that it finds are part of the form. We'll do the same for the form input error identifier. And class error identifier. Input error class identifier. We'll look for this in our args. If it's there, we'll use it. Otherwise, we're going to default to FHE, form helper error. Put that together with the form class prefix to get the error identifier. Just like we did for the actual input identifier, now we have an error identifier. This is so we know where to put the error message, where to show and hide it. If we refresh our page here, expand, and now we should see login-fh, and our input error class identifier is login-fhe, E for error. Now we're going to also allow our form helper, the user, to specify the input error class for the inputs. By default, we're just going to use our default class that we created. Oh, I closed the styles, didn't I? JS styles, error, input default error. We're going to use this one by default. However, you can pass in an override if you want. Again, we're going to look for the input error class in args. If it's there, we'll use it. args.input class error. Otherwise, we default to our default error class. Then we'll save a minimum password length. So when we're validating this on the front end, we have the value to compare the length of the password to. And like all of these, we're looking for this in the args. So min password length, if it's passed in, we're going to use it. Otherwise, we're going to default to 8. Then we'll have our form elements. And that is just an empty object. That's how it starts. Now we can go ahead and get the input elements for our form. Remember, we only want to check the input elements by class name. Script like this, by class name. Input elements equals document, get elements by class name. Now, we want to return all of them, not just the first in the array. So we're going to get rid of that 0. And we want to get them by class name, but the class name now is our input class identifier. Self.input class identifier. Do a console log of those. Take a little pause here just to make sure the page is working fine still. So what do we have here? We have our input elements that we got by login-fh. We have our input email and our input password. Our form helper, you see we're building it out. We have all of our things defined here now in our form helper. And you can pass these in to override them as well. We've just passed in login, and the form helper has taken over and done all the work from there for us. We have our input default error class, which will get applied to inputs if they don't validate. We have our input class error identifier and our minimum password length. So now what we want to do is loop over these HTML elements here that we got and store them in our form helper here into our form elements object. get a little for loop going here for variable I equals 0. I is less than input elements dot length I plus plus. Loop over form input elements. Element object equals, and we'll define our element object here as we loop over all of them. This way we can normalize all the inputs on the page into our self.form elements. We're going to have a column, and we're going to get that from our input element I, which we're iterating over. Dot get attribute and the attribute we're going to add is data column. And this has to be a unique value that goes to the server for that input. For our login, we're going to add on data column equals email. Then we're going to add on a check. This is the check that you want to perform on the value for the front end. So we're going to say check, data check. This is going to be email. So we'll have a function that does a check for an email. And if we don't have a check specified, that means that we're going to pass that straight to the server without doing any front-end checks. So we can just do or false here. If it doesn't exist, ignore the check on it and pass it straight along to the server. Then for our password and confirm password, we're going to have a matches data input attribute. If it matches, so the matches on the confirm password would say data matches equals password. And the last thing we're going to store here is our class name. And the class name is going to be our self.input identifier. Input class identifier right here. So for example, login-fh. And we're going to add on a number for the class name. Object keys self form elements dot length. So every time we add on an object to form elements object right here, we will have an incremented number right here. What's going to end up happening is this form helper is going to add on a class to each of these inputs that it loops over. So it'll be login fh 0. I think it's 0. Did we put a dash in there? I don't know. But then it'll be login fh 1. This way, the form helper can specifically target that input element for validation and errors and adding error classes. We needed a unique way for the form helper to grab onto each element. So with that unique identifier specified, we're going to add that onto the class list for that input element. .add, and here's where we specify our element object .class name. Create element for object for element. We can say add class name to the DOM, because that's what it's doing. It's adding this class name right here to this input element. When we refresh the page, you will see. And then last but not least, we need to add that whole element object to our form elements. From form elements. Self.form elements, element object, element object, and then call the unique name we gave it, column. So form elements, and then this right here will be email, right? And then it loops over it again, and it will be password. And that simply equals the whole element object we just set up, just like that. And so now our form elements, our form helper has really been set up. Give us our self. Let's do constructor function param. This is an object args, and it return object. Let's go ahead and refresh our page, and you guys can see what it is doing. Hopefully there's no errors. There's no errors. Perfect. Let's first look at the console log here, make sure everything got set up correctly. It didn't. We haven't added nothing to our form elements, so we missed something there. Something, form elements. Did that not get added correctly? Let's see if our it added our input classes. Okay, so we're not quite getting there either. We have our column, data column email, data check email. Let's see what happens here for each input elements. Geez, the length is wrong. It's always a spelling issue, but I also didn't add our data column and data check to our password. Data column will be password and data check will be password. Let's go ahead and refresh our page. Expand our form helper. Now look at our form elements. We have email and password. Just like we've set up in the JavaScript, we have the check that we want to perform on it once we click sign up. The class name is FH0. Column is email. That's the unique value that needs to go to the server. It's just actually the unique value in general. Every form element needs to have a unique column name. Password check, login FH1. So if we inspect these elements right here, now you see that we have added on, the form helper has added on our login-fh0 to our email, and to our password we should see login-fh1. Back in our sign up over here, first of all, let's clean up the login a little bit here. We'll delete the console log. Don't need that. This is our create new form helper for login. Good there. Create new form helper for sign up. Alright. So now for the sign up body, we can close our head, we can close our HTML head there as well for the login? Login. Alright, where's our sign up body? So sign up body, we got to go ahead and add on these same things. This is how our form helper knows. Alright, so we're going to add on, because right now the form helper on the sign up page, it has no idea because there's no prefix here. So we have to do sign up form helper. Now it knows, now this input will be picked up by our form helper. We're also going to add on our data column email and data check email. I'm going to go ahead and add on this sign up-fh to all of our inputs. Username, first name, last name, password, and confirm password. Next up, we have to add on our data column and our data check. For our username, column name will be username and the data check will be username. For our first name, we have our data column will be first underscore name, and our data check will simply be name. Copy that to our last name as well. Only difference here is we'll have a last name column name. And the check will be the same because we're going to have the same check for first name and last name. We're just going to basically check to see, you know, if something has been entered. We might do some other checks on it, but we can use the same function for checking the first name and the last name. But the column name has to be different. Then for our password, the column is going to be password, and we're going to check for our password. That needs to be its own function, just like we have to do our own thing for confirming the password. So data check, data column, confirm password. We're going to do a check for confirm underscore password. And here's where we're going to do matches, data matches. Matches. I'm going to specify this input has to match, what does this have to match before it can be validated? And it has to match our password. And so you specify the column name of the other form element you want to match. Matches password. Now the thing here on the sign up page that we didn't do for our login page is the error messages, right? Because on the login page we're just going to highlight the inputs. We're not going to show a message. If you have a message, the form helper will look for the login form prefix -fh, remember E for error. So all we have to do is put sign up -fhe on each of these error messages. First name error, last name error, password error, and confirm password error. Alright, let's head over to our sign up page. Check out our console on the sign up page. Let's see what we have in our form helper here. So now our form helper, the exact same object we used to create a login form, has been used to create a sign up form. And this is where it's really going to come in helpful down the future when we have settings and who knows what forms we're going to be adding. But we can keep coming back and using the same form helper. Our sign up form, here's all of our form elements in the sign up form that we appended with our sign up prefix. So you see our form elements, we have all of the things listed here. It found all of the elements on the sign up page with that form prefix, and it went through and it created class names for them. So we should see class names on each of these input elements so the form helper knows how to associate them. There's sign up FH1. This password has, where's password? Sign up -FH4. And so that is the initial setup for our form helper. Go ahead and delete this console log here. The next thing to do, obviously, is validate the form. Let me get our login and sign up here together. So what we're going to do on each of these pages is pass in our sign up form helper to our server sign up. And so this is going to take in our sign up form. Same with our login. We're going to pass our login form helper into our server login function. And what we're going to do here is, this is where we're actually going to validate the form. So we're going to tell the form helper, validate the form. And it'll loop over the form elements, it will do its thing, and give us back a response. And we're going to do something like this. We're going to say if signUpForm.validate. And we're going to specify front end. This way we're going to tell the validate function to validate everything from the front end. Validate the values based on what the user has entered into the form. Whereas when we get data back from the server, we're going to call signUpForm, but we'll validate it based on the backend data, the data we got from the server. Because what the front end validates, you know, the back end might catch some things where people are trying to be a little sneaky. Get rid of our alert function there. And our form helper here. Under our constructor, we'll do a form helper.prototype.validate. That equals function. And we passed in where we're validating it from, the front end. So we'll just say from. Where are you validating from? You validating from the front end or the back end? It'll make more sense later once we have the back end data coming, but for now, just know we do have to be able to determine if we're validating from the front end or from the back end. Let's just do our get self here. We're kind of running out of time, so I think this might be a good place to end. This way we can dive right into validating in our next stream. Validate the form. Object is a string. And we're going to return a Boolean. Later. I don't know if we'll get... No. Right now we'll just leave it as return Boolean, but we're just going to log out the form helper. Log self. Validate. Let's see. Let's get this commented here. Helps you validates the form. That's a good, it takes in an object of args and it returns a form helper, an object. All right. Let's see where we got here. We put that on the sign up page. So if we refresh our sign up page and we click sign up, see, we went to the validate function and it dumped out the form helper. And this form helper is of the sign up prefix. If we copy all this same stuff over to our login page, right, we're going to pass in our login form. Let's copy over our if statement here. If our login form validates, then we want to do stuff. What do we want to do if it validates? Well, here's where we actually send data to server. Front end past validation. So that's what that means. Front end past validation, and we can send the data to the server. This is an object. Server side, sign up. Sign up. I think we're sitting pretty. We got a little login form helper object created, and now it can handle login and sign up so far. Well, we got to write the validation so far, but if we check out the console on both of these pages, and I click sign up, there's our form helper. Sign up, if we go to the login page and click login, we get our form helper object, but now it's from the login prefix. Perfect. We are well on our way. Easily finish this in the next stream. And that is a good place to wrap things up for this stream. But before we go, I mean, you know, we got to get this site pushed live, of course. Getting all our code pushed live at the end of every stream. Close that. So I think we can close all of this up. So I'm going to go ahead and SSH into my server. One second. Sorry, give me a second here, guys. All right, I think we're in. Zoom this out a little bit here. So the first thing I want to do is, let's pause here a second. Let's pull up the dev site first. Good idea, good idea. Dev site is rubberduckarmy.com/dev/site, I think we put it at. Alright, there's our dev site. Beautiful. Got our login page. Now if we run our scripts, oh, well, we gotta commit our, we're getting way ahead of ourselves, guys. Sorry. Getting late here. Not really, but it's been a long day. So, first things first. Let's get our code merged into our main branch. Go scripts. www. cd rubber.army. Get branch minus get branch dash a. All right. Here we go. We're on stream 5. Get status. We got all these things to check in. Get add minus all. Get commit. Stream 5 updates. Is that what I was doing for comments? 1 second, guys. We'll get there, we'll get there. So, rubber.army. Commits. Yeah, stream 4 updates. So here we got stream 5 updates coming at you. Get push origin stream 5. All right. So now if we do a get checkout main, yeah, main. Refresh our local box here. We got demoted back to our stream 4 code. That's okay. Just get a merge going here. Boom, boom, merge. Get branch dash a. So we're on our main branch. We're going to do get merge of stream 5. Refreshing our local host once again, and our changes have been merged into main. Go to our GitHub repository, and mere seconds ago, our branch has been merged, and changes are now live in the GitHub repository. Now over in our scripts folder on our server, if we do a deploy rubber.army dev from git. Done. Refresh our dev site, and our changes are on dev. Inspect our page here. We should see our form helper being logged out on our dev site. Nice. If we click login, we'll go to the login page, click login, and there's our form helper. All right, all's good there. Let's go to our production site. We've ran all the key tests. All of our unit tests passed. We're ready to push it to production. All that requires is rubber.army prod from dev, run that script, a little rsync up to the production folder, refresh our website. If we go to login, there is our login, our nice login. It's so pretty. Do a hard refresh, make sure we get the latest. Login, it's dumping out our form helper. Nice. There's our login form helper. If we go to the sign up page, click sign up. Hey, there's our form helper, our sign up form helper. And it's live, guys. It's up on the GitHub repository. It's up on the live website. You know, we're just building this here as we go, building in public, learning as we go, hoping that you guys learned something. Next stream, we're going to get to the actual validation of these fields when you click sign up and applying the errors, the error border if there's an error, and the error message where we need to. Let's see, is there anything else? I think that's, let's see, close, localhost. We got our code committed. Yeah, I think that's gonna wrap up the stream, guys. Really appreciate you guys for tuning into the stream whenever you could, from whatever platform you are on. Guys, hit that subscribe button, leave a follow, like, comment, share, do all those fun things. Let the world know about rubberduckarmy.com and what we're building. All you gotta do is follow along the stream and you can learn how to code. It's that simple. Best thing is the code's out, everything's out there for you to see. The code, the live stream here, we coded it in real time. And it's live on rubberduckarmy.com. And with all that being said, I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye, world.
He said one day you'll leave this code behind, so write that code and don't remember. Some senior told me when I was level 1, these are the bugs that never die.